Let's talk about Teams. So once again here with
Carsten Milback
and Michael Broholt.
So we're going to talk a bit about, let's call it voice isolation.
Yeah.
So
voice isolation is one of the new features that Microsoft was introducing, showing here at Ignite.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really cool one. It's where you're actually removing all the background sound. So when you have one of those terrible Apple headsets I can easily hear everybody, but your microphone is ruining the conversation. It can actually remove all the background noise.
Yeah.
But how is it doing it? Because and what's the purpose of it? Is the purpose that you're able to sit everywhere and everybody around you can speak? Can you go to a concert with it on? And
what the idea is, and again, I'm not Microsoft, but what we have been told is that we have other manufacturers doing a great job of noise cancellation and move on, but they're still built on getting some information into it, where Microsoft are going in and say, we only take the voice.
But how does it know the voice?
Again, we have another session where we are talking about intelligent speak, but where you can actually make your own voice profile. So Microsoft is aware of your voice DNA, and on that way, of course, there's some basic technology. If you haven't recorded your own voice, it will still kind of work, but here it has that one as a reference. So it will completely isolate everything. We all probably know that if you're sitting in a cafe or in a heavy crowded office, something like that, some of the manufacturers' headsets are still picking up the neighbor's voice, even though some of them are not of distance and so on, but you will still be able sometimes to hear some background voices. And of course that makes sense because they are filtering on frequencies and so on. Here, when Microsoft knows your voices, know that you're speaking, so they can isolate completely.
Yeah, it will be really interesting to see. I mean, I've heard a bit about it. We just heard a sound clip with it, so it'll be really interesting. Also to see how would it work together with a manufacturer's headset, because they have some technology, Microsoft doing some other technology. And if you have, let's say I've done my voice profile, I'm having my Teams client, my Teams meeting on my Teams client, and then I take my system and we have a short meeting together, Michael and I. How would that work? Would it filter out Michael's voice, or would it only filter?
Again, and
also would it only affect a laptop with a headset on, or could I actually sit there with the microphones in the laptop and the speakers, and would be able to differentiate two voices?
It's an option. It's an option, and I guess again we haven't tested it, but I think you will have a problem with two voices.
I mean. From the knowledge that I have so far, at least, that it's built on your voice profile, which means that it recognizes my voice. If I sit in a, let's say, coffee shop together with Michael and we have a Teams meeting with you, that's perfect. You can only hear me.
I can't see the benefit from that.
I would just be silent.
So.
But again, that comes back, as long as it's controlled, it's a user-based control. It's not something we as admins are forcing down. Like if you are enabling special audio, any of the other automatic things that Microsoft have, in your Teams client on the device settings, you can enable or disable it. So again, if you're sitting with a coffee shop, of course, you as an end user need to do something active, go in and disable it, but it's something that you can do. And I guess users are better and better now that actually go in and configuring their end devices. We still have something that we're struggling with, but again, the normal user is becoming more and more used to doing some of the configuration themselves. And
then I would say if they are not really capable of doing their changes and settings, they would never have made a voice profile.
And they would probably never sit in a coffee shop with a PC, two people talking with it. I mean, that's the next thing. So they would probably be a little laid back and not on the cutting edge of...
But for big office spaces where you're sitting close to each other, it will be fantastic because sometimes the headsets aren't able to eliminate all the voices around you. And when they have this voice profile, they will be able to do something about isolating only this speech. It's a great option and opportunity to have a better meeting experience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you first heard something talk about isolated voice and so on, you didn't know what was. I thought, okay, that's just Microsoft that are doing the same as the manufacturer, but it isn't. I mean, they actually take it the next step, and not said that we shouldn't have the manufacturer's headset and noise cancellation. It's still an add-on to it, because I mean, those headsets are also helping you're sitting as a person and talking and removing some backgrounds and so on. I mean, Microsoft doesn't that. That's only for the far-end. I mean, this is only something that benefits the far-end.
But would it be available on Teams Phone as well? Or is it only for the client?
It's everything client-wise, what we've been told.
Okay.
Again, I'm still really looking forward to be testing more. But yeah, it's a Teams client thing. So, I mean, desk phone, might not yet, but everything else that's relating to the client, like the mobile client, the Mac client, whatever it is, and because it's something Microsoft are doing in the back end. So we are sending the sound stream to Microsoft, they are processing it.
And how do you enable and disable it? Is it just something you set before you enter a meeting, or is it something you can do
during meetings? Yeah, it's a slider. Like if you want to soft focus on your camera, for example, you go into a meeting and you can enable that, and backlights, whatever, you can do that. So it will be a slider.
It will be interesting to see will it be any license included in that, or would that just be?
Yeah. Hopefully it will not be a license. No, you need the premium for that one.
You need the premium, you need the pro, you need
It would make sense. I mean, I think without knowing that it's the same way as software on the camera, so it's just an add-on functionality.
Yeah, I mean, we already have voice noise suppression in Teams. Yeah. Maybe not a lot of people are aware of it, but you can actually change your voice suppression or noise suppression within your Teams meetings.
And it's a great functionality.
Yeah.
Are you using unsupported headsets? It will do it.
No, we are not.
No, exactly, you are not. So then you wouldn't be aware of it. But if you are using some of it, it will automatically.
Larger rooms where they already had a DSP with USB, which is not certified, you need to do something about your noise suppression actually, because otherwise you might have a double echo. Yeah, but
again, nobody uses non-certified devices. Of course, everybody is Teams in the perfect world. But and in the beginning when it was introduced, it didn't look into certified devices as well. So we had a problem with noise suppression.
I was actually questions one thing. It's like, so now I have a voice isolation, then I don't need to think about that it needs to be a Teams certified headset anymore. I don't think it will go that far. No. It will be really interesting, first of all, to see how it's actually working. It works pretty well from what I've heard so far. But how is it working with, like, if you're on a Teams call just on your phone, if you're on a Teams phone on your PC, your laptop, just with the embedded mics and speakers?
But you know what? Let's just make another session. When we are tested more, we can go back and say, what are the benefits of it? And of course, with any functionality, there are some disadvantages, and you just need to know where it makes sense to use it and where it doesn't.
Yeah, so, exactly. But really interesting. And I think, first of all, it makes so good sense that we think about how can we make better meetings. Instead of just adding new hardware, we can actually take some of the hardware we have already. You can use the benefit of Microsoft creating even better meetings, not for yourself because you're in the coffee shop, but for those people that sit remotely.
But as we also have seen with spatial audio, Microsoft is doing more and more in the cloud, and they're capable of handling the audio in different ways that we haven't seen before, and it makes the meetings more interactive, included, and they trying to make the focus on the meeting. And I kind of like that they using the power of Azure to do this, even though you have to purchase a premium or pro license.
But again, it makes perfect sense again with the license. Why do I have to pay for the pro license? Because there is a heavy workload on the Azure backend. So and not to defend Microsoft, but it actually makes sense, because who's gonna cost every CPU cycle? There's a cost to it. So
it's all about. We know doing something like the isolation part, that also takes a heavy load of Azure power. So I think it would be in a premium license, to be honest. And that's how I see it, because it
takes some power. I hope not. I hope you're wrong, but I hope it will be every Teams user's
Yeah, it would make sense that everyone can have.
But again, we have seen a lot of advanced functionality go to premium. So because this is not just PSTN call, this is like Teams to Teams call. I mean, this is every time you do a call from your Teams client, one to many or one to one, no matter if it's IP or if it's PSTN wise, you will have that functionality.
Yeah. Yes. But really cool. I would say
Nice
great feature. So when is it coming out? Coming soon?
Actually, coming soon. I was going to say again. I dare not saying any dates. I've learned that the hard way. So
So
no, it's. I don't think it's any GA announced on date on it.
I haven't heard any.
It's a feature coming, and sometimes you just see it rolled out, right?
Yeah,
so
without surprise. What is that slider?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but let's wrap it up here. So that was a short one around voice isolation, trying to create even better meetings for those that sit remotely.
Exactly.
More calm meeting, more relaxed in the heads, so not too much meeting fatigue.
So
thanks a lot for watching. See you out there. Bye.
Bye.